before we actually begin talking about what's actually happening, what's going on, I want you to understand a few things. Every year, a lot of students go into the US to study. They complete their masters, they complete their bachelors, and the next thing that they do is they look for an H-1B visa. You already know this. This is nothing new. You also know that a lot of people already from a lot of other countries, India included, apply for the H-1B directly through their company in India, and then, a subsidiary company in the US takes them up. This can happen for a lot of reasons. Sometimes they have projects, sometimes they have other reasons due to which the consulting agent needs to be present in the United States, and that's why they use the H-1B to transfer them over there. So there's basically these two major ways how India transfers most of these people to the US on an H-1B. Okay, of course, the first one, the major one, is the way in which we guys go, and that is the one with the education based thing. When you go for F1 visa and then you go to the H-1B visa, right? Now, let me tell you the whole story. What's going on? What's really up? Okay, so the next thing that happens is these H-1B guys, right? They understand that this H-1B is not something that is permanent, and they won't be able to stay in the country for very long, and they'll have to keep applying again and again. The lottery system comes in, maybe they'll get it, maybe they won't get it, and they'll have to keep going through the process. So what they do next is they go for employment-based green cards. Let me tell you what those are. These are EB-1, EB-2, EB-3. Now, the context of this video is not to explain exactly what which one you are eligible for, but mostly you can see that you go for EB1, EB2, EB3, EB4, EB5 are special types of visa types which usually you would not be going for. Like 99% of you, it would not concern you. Okay, you go for EB1, EB2, EB3. Every year you can see about 120,000 visas are given out. Okay, EB1 is also a very special scenario. Most of you will not be eligible for it, but still every year about 120,000 visas are given out of which 80,000 visas from EB2 and EB3 are the ones which are your priority. Now, it's not as simple as that. So let's say that you're in the US, you're on an H-1B. Can you get one visa out of these 80,000? It's not that easy. It's not that simple, because now comes the case of the country cap. Okay, let me actually explain what that is. Okay, I'll take you to this tab right now. Alright, so this is what has been going on in the Congress in the US. I'll tell you about what's going on. It says the employment-based backlog. I've also covered this in one of my previous videos, but stick around if you're here and you've watched that one, because there's new information coming up on this thing. Okay, so this one really talks about how you have a statutory 7% per country cap. So basically, out of all the visas that are given out, we have a 7% cap that no country can have more than 7% visas allotted to it. Okay, so let's say that there's 80,000 visas from EB2, EB3. Well, you can say that 7% of that's the maximum amount that can go for that can go to applicants of one country. Let's say if there's Indians, for instance, then you can only 7% of this number. That's all the visas that we have for you. After that, for diversity reasons, we'll take in consideration other countries. So you will basically not be rejected, but you will be in the line. You will keep waiting and waiting and waiting until your number comes up. Now, the 7%, a lot of people have been also waiting for the past few years. Last year also it happened, and basically it's been going on for dozens of years, decades really, and people have been waiting in line. It's basically that line, right? Like that line that's forming, we call it a backlog. It's a backlog. Backlog is a huge thing that's going on right now. And this line, right, your number, if you apply right now in this line, let's say you're here, then this gap can be as long as 200 years. It's that big, especially for countries like India and China. So let me actually show you over here. This thing actually talks about the s386. It's sort of an amendment that the Senate is recommending to remove this 7% cap, and that's what I covered in the last video also. I told you that this is what they want. In the Senate, they're trying to run the scheme that the 7% cap should be removed. Okay, and let me actually just quickly show you what happens to countries like India in this case. If it is not removed, that 7% cap. You can see over here the EB1, which is extremely rare. Right now, the waiting time for India is about 8 years. If you apply today, 8 years later, your number will come. And this is for EB1, which is the rarest of categories. By financial year 2030, it's gonna be 18 years. Moving on, EB2, which you guys can usually apply for, that's the most typical one. Master students apply for this all the time. 195 years for India right now. you won't live 195 years, so this is useless. 436 years by 2030, that's what they're trying to project. EB3 also, bachelor students usually apply for this, but it's not really that high in the priority. EB2 is more preferred, so that one's a little bit better, but still 27 years of waiting time over here as well, and this is not even the preferred visa type. This is right now. Next 2030, it's going to be 48 years. So that's what we're talking about. That's what we're dealing with. That's the backlog. Now I just gave you the quick summary of the video that I'd already made in the past. Now you know what the situation is. Now you know how long the waiting period is. If you want to go to basically stay in the United States on a green card from an H1B, you want to take a transfer, you'll be looking at these visa types, you'll be looking at these backlogs, these will be your waiting times. Now let's move on. Let's talk about what the news is. Okay, so today the news came out, and this was S386 that I told you, right? Like, this was being used in the Senate. They were trying to get the 7% cap to be removed, and they were telling that way the backlog will be removed, and it's going to be very, very easier for us to process applicants from these talented countries as well, with talented individuals. Well, now today the news is that this bill, this S386, that would eliminate green card backlog for Indians, has been blocked by the US Senate. So that's what's happened. That's the news. That's what I wanted to tell you. Okay, and let's just read a bit further so that we understand what's going on. See, the passage of the bill, which would do away with the backlog of employment-based, that's EB type green cards, was thwarted. That's stopped once again in the US Senate. Okay, the Fairness for High-Skilled Immigrants Act of 2019, or S386, seeks to end country caps for employment-based green cards and would primarily benefit Indians, some of whom face wait times of up to 200 years. That's an insane amount of time. That's not, no one lives 200 years. It's basically useless applying right now. Okay, so basically what happened was, that the Senator Mike Lee was basically, supporting this, and this bill was actually opposed by Senator Rick Scott of Florida, who's trying to carve out a way for the Spanish people who want to come into the country. So that's really the news, and this agreement comes after these two senators actually reached a sort of like a you can say that a fix that yes, this is how we should do it. This country based thing should be removed, but still the news is that Rick Scott just from Florida has rejected it, and that's how it's been going on. Currently there's a 7% annual cap. I've already told you about all the details. You do not need to know over here anything else that's written in this thing. It's basically the same thing. About 3 million Indians who are currently waiting for their green cards to come through would benefit from if this bill is passed. Okay, so yeah, that's really what's going on. It's an unfortunate thing right now that the waiting time is so high, and the 7% country cap is probably not the right way to go, but at the same time, remember that if the 7% country cap is removed, other countries will have to increase their waiting times. So it's basically going to average out for all of the world, world. It's going to be like maybe 5 years waiting time for all of the world, and the backlog for Indians, Chinese, all of these people will be removed, and yeah, that's going to be an easier way. Though if you are looking to actually stay in the United States, not even on an H1B, let's say that you're on an H1B right now, or you want to do something different, you still want to stay, and this doesn't seem like a viable alternative, which it isn't. Let me tell you, there's other ways. There's other ways, like you can take a look at O-based visas. You can take a look at L1, L2 visas. Okay, you can take a look at other visa types, like let me see. There's I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting something, but I think there's other visa types for people who want to start a business. I've actually covered that in another video previously, but again, if you guys are interested, I can tell you more about that. Okay, how you can, there's E2 visa, yeah, that was the one that I was forgetting, right? So I think these are the names, right? So E2 visas, L1 visas, all of these are visas that you can look into. For Indians, E2 is probably not the applicable one, L1 is the applicable one, so you can go into that. But still, keep in mind that this is how things are going. You can still stay in the US. There's other ways. You don't have to wait for this thing that's going on. Don't be scared. I know this is something that you're really you need to know, and all of that's going on in your head, but still, I'll keep you updated. Let me know if you want to watch more videos on this, and I'll do those for you. Okay, I hope this video helps. I hope this gives you information. See, you guys need to know this. This is information that concerns you. It changes your lives in important ways, so it's something that you need to know. So as soon as I heard that the news came out, this came out today 2 hours ago, I just made the video right now. Okay, hopefully you'll let me know what you think about this in the comments down below. Let me know what other visa types you would like me to cover, and I'll be very happy to do that for you. Okay, subscribe to the channel if you like the video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good day. Bye.